Hey, welcome to episode 99 of WhysAdvice. Give you a second to get caught up here, get settled in, and we will get the show on the air. So, hopefully you're all doing well tonight. It's a great night as always to be here. So, Colby's checking in first. Yo! David in number 2. Good to see you, sir. Liz is here. Good evening. David, yep, got you there. Jeff is here. Woohoo! How cool is that? The first handful of guys, other than Colby, the first handful of folks are guys. So, Kathy out of North Carolina, good to see you. Jeannie, Northern Alabama's in the house. Let's see. Angie is here. Hello, Angie. Angie says hello. Aaron, hi. How are you? Steven's here. Man, a whole room full of guys. Hey, nothing. No offense to the ladies, right? But a whole room full of guys, which is kind of cool. Nicole, good evening to you. Diane, good evening. Vicky, good evening. Hello. Let's see who else. Marie is here. Sandra is here. Hello. Andrea says hi, y'all. Is that how you pronounce it? Hi, y'all. Hi, y'all. Like, hi to you all. Katie's driving home. Cool. Manchester, Connecticut, checking in with Colleen. Good evening to you. Oh, so Andrea, was a typo. Hi, y'all. Gotcha. Gary's here. Good evening. Paula, Tennessee. Paula says hi to Mike and everyone. So, hi, everyone. Paula says hi. LR checking in. Let's see. Mikey's here. Yvette's here. Jacob is here. John's here. Don is here. Man, you guys have nothing better to do on a Monday night, right? I couldn't think of it. Kathy's here. Good evening. Janice just finished your workout. What'd you do? What'd you get in? Yeah, no, David, I'm not. I haven't even started that project, so we'll get to that in a little bit. Andrea, Maine is in the house. Maine, this was Maine's in the house. Yep, I'm from Lewiston, Auburn for a little while. Lived in near Augusta, up in Litchfield for a little bit. Been a while. Elise is here from Wheaton. Jill says, first official weigh-in at a meeting down 1.6. So yeah, Jill just switched to meetings, which is very, very cool. So good job, Jill, with that. I'm glad it's going well. So let's see, 1.6 is a fantastic number. That proves that you are focused and working it. So good job. Brandy says, hey. Iris is here. Stephen, all the skinny men are here. Jennifer says, good evening. Brandy's here. Southern California, says Paulette. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, Walter, 99, right? Isn't that, I think that's insane. Again, I'll tell you, when I first started doing this, I hope that's better or worse, I don't know. When I first started doing this, I had no expectation that I would still be doing it a month or two later. I didn't. I just figured I'd just kind of play around with it. I was looking at the download numbers today just for fun and sharing them with some folks. And the first week of downloads was like, I forget now, in the hundreds. And then all of a sudden one day jumped up to like a little over 1,000, and it was like, woo! And then it took like 8 or 9 days for it to get back over 1,000. And I remember thinking at that point, like, wow, this is crazy. And it just continues to get crazier. So it's kind of fun. Yeah, so here at episode 99. I got 100, probably going to try and get it done either tomorrow or maybe Wednesday. Tuesday's my hardest night, so we'll see. Michelle's checking in. John's here. Got you, John. So Janice was out doing some cross training. So good work. Way to go. Steve's here. Yeah, 99. Hope from Minnesota. Yeah, we did. So you're right, Andrea. I just forget where, who's from where. Sometimes, unless you come in and say Northern Alabama's in the house, it's sometimes hard for me to remember who's from where. Because I'm trying to do this and think and talk and write and prepare a show. Whew. What was I thinking? Yeah, and 99, here we go. This week's meeting topic was tough. I got my meeting tomorrow night. I have 2 meetings this week. Yeah, Brandy, that is. Yep. It's surprising, right? Yeah, that's what. So they're a partner of ours. So Owasso is where the foundation is, and Owasso High School does a lot of fundraising for us and a lot of good stuff. So shout out to the Owasso Rams. Kathy's here. Let's see, Donna, you're in. Good. All right, looks like we're gonna go get this done. Let's see, Denise from Chicago. Michelle got you. Yeah, John's from Gorham. I remember that. That's easy to remember. Steve's from Chicago. Yeah, David, so, I wasn't going to argue, but I don't believe it was a 36. That's a whole other discussion. And so the bigger point was I just didn't care. And that was the piece that really made me the most happy is that, I remember every time they pulled that tape, I would get mad if it wasn't, 39 or less. And it was just that I have such a mental phobia of the tape, I guess. So today, yesterday when he did, I didn't have that phobia, but I didn't believe it was a 36 either, and I still don't. But I wasn't going to stand there and argue because I knew it didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It wasn't going to be the difference between pass and fail. It was just going to be the difference of what the number was. So, yeah, I don't know how it was a 36. So, yeah, and I don't know either because I am wearing size 31 jeans. Not right now. Tonight I'm wearing my pajamas. That's the cool thing about doing a podcast at home. You can wear pajamas to do the show. Nashville's here. Brandy's Tulsa. Cool. Yep. All right, let's go. Let's see. I'm going to kind of scroll down by exception here. Let's see what we got. Iris, I haven't looked in a while. Is that what it is? I don't. There was a point. I'll be honest with you. There was a point where I was keeping an eye on that number, Iris, about how many followers there were, and now, every once in a while I'll pop in, but I say every once in a while it's like, I don't know, it's a month or so or more. I just I care. I don't know what the right word is. It's just not what my goal is at that point. So let's see. Man, the whole family's here tonight. I got my brothers here, friends are here. It's kind of neat. All right, let's get this show done. Let's get 99 in the books, shall we? What do you think? Get that there. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Northern Wisconsin. We are all family. Denise is so right. Did anybody guess this was coming up? This may have something to do with why I don't sleep well at night. You ready? 99 coming up. I am your host, FatDag. You're listening to WhysAdvice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at FatDag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at WhysAdvice. Send in your comments, your questions, and your celebrations, and I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, here we are. We've reached the last of double digits, 99 in the books. A lot of new listeners out there, a lot of new folks joining us on Facebook. It really is it's kind of cool to see all that, depending on where you get the show, whether you get it in Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, if you get it from iTunes. There's all kinds of places to pick up the show. If you don't already have the app, go to your app store and search for WhysAdvice. I think the app is probably the best listening experience, unless you have like a really fancy car, then you can play, use Stitcher, I guess, the controls on the radio there. But it doesn't matter to me how you get the show. The fact that you're here listening, tuning in is what keeps me going. So I thank you for being here for the first 99. We'll hit triple digits tomorrow, and we will just keep rolling from there. So first up, Kayla writes in and says, "Hi, FatDag. I appreciate the time you dedicate to the podcast. Also, thanks for your service. I'm a daughter of a now retired Army officer, so I have a special respect for members of the military and their family. Could you please discuss health shaming? I'm on month 4 of my Weight Watcher journey and 21 pounds down. I feel fantastic. However, now I'm getting comments like, 'Do you really have to walk again? You can have pizza and cake with us again today. It won't kill you.' I'm so thankful my husband is so supportive and the comments aren't coming from him, but other friends and family members' comments are disheartening. Thanks for reading, Kayla." Kayla, thank you for your shout out, and thank you to your family as your dad's an Army officer. What an amazing accomplishment that is. And being the child of an Army officer, I'm sure there was a little bit of discipline going on in that house. So the fact that you survived it is a true testament to your willpower as well. So keep up the great work there. When it comes to your question, the number one answer I have for you is get to goal. Right? When you get to goal, a lot of those comments go away, because at that point you've completely changed your life in order to get the goal that we talk about, the true goal where you say, "I no longer want to lose any weight. I am healthy. I am fit. I am active." When you do all of that, it's at that point that your friends and family notice that everything that you've done and everything that you've sacrificed along the way, they understand that, oh, I get why you were doing all that. They have a hard time seeing it in the middle of the journey, because in the middle of the journey, they're kind of expecting you to kind of go back to your old ways, or more and more so, they're really looking for validation for you to validate what they're doing is actually still okay. So they want you to join them in the overindulging and not walking again, because it's justification for them to continue those bad habits that they want to do. The last thing is, I always take notice when someone gives me a comment. I try and look and see where they are in their journey in relation to my journey. And very rarely do I get a comment such as yours where someone says, "Do you have to go running again? Do you, come on, let's overeat here." Very rarely does that comment come from someone who's fit, healthy, at goal, and living a healthy lifestyle. Almost always, they're folks who are continuing to work their own journey, and that's where you just have to understand where their mindset is, where it comes from. Now, certainly there are days you can take a day off from walking. There are days you can have pizza. There's days you can have cake. You can fit all that in, but you need to fit it in on your terms, not because someone else suggested it, and that's the answer you get back. It's a simple no thank you, and you move on. Kayla, thank you for your email for sure. Maria writes in, says, "Hi, FatDag. First, I want to thank you, 1, for your service to this country, and 2, for all of us Weight Watchers who are on this journey and need the inspiration, the hope, and a knowledge that this is doable. I've been thinking about know your whys. I absolutely intellectually know that my whys, but when I struggle, it's really that I just don't feel my whys, and the food overwhelms my knowledge. I just stumbled upon a diet journal I started years ago when I was at my highest, 250 pounds. I was starting a diet once again, and I made this video. It was in the parking lot upon my very first visit. When watching it, I could see the sadness, the desperation. I expressed all the reasons why I needed to lose weight. It was quite an eye-opener, to say the least. I felt with every core of my body the desperation that I felt. It was so uncomfortable and quite the reality check. My suggestion to others is to make a video as you start this journey, so that you can see and hear how you feel, and you can see and hear your why. There is nothing like it. My question to you is, do you need to feel your why in order to stay focused, or is it just the knowledge of it that works for you? I'm not even sure what I'm trying to say makes any sense to anyone other than me, but I thought I would throw it out there. I'm down 33.2 pounds, and I'm losing this weight for what seems like the 100th time, probably more like 5. With each trial, I learn a little more about myself, my habits, my triggers. I am planning for this to be the last. I wish you continued health and focus on your and all other Weight Watchers who follow your individual journeys. Maria. Maria, absolutely is this journey is absolutely doable. That's the number one thing I say. I believe in you. And the only reason I believe in you, not the only reason, but the biggest reason I believe in you is because I've seen countless people who are doing what we're all trying to do. People can get to goal. If you understand why you're doing this, and you take some focus, and you take some discipline, then the journey absolutely is doable. It's not about knowing how to do it. It's knowing why you want to do it. Everyone knows how, right? But you got to tap into why. And in your case, you actually had to feel it. And I agree with that in some sense. You have to kind of feel miserable. You have to see just how miserable you are. But when you're living that daily, it's hard to step back and notice the difference. Now, I agree with you. A video, looking back at videos of me back when I was overweight, I can see exactly what you talked about. I can see the desperation. I can see the sadness. I can see all that in a previous video, even though I appear to be happy. A trained eye, in my case, looking back, I can look back and I can see the difference in myself. So you're right. It's a good opportunity to take a benchmark photo, take a benchmark video, to have something to look back at. Now, I'll caution you, it's going to be one of those things where I tell folks all the time, when you start your before picture, most of us don't want to see this. And that's what put us in this place, in this position in the first place. So you have to kind of do that with caution. And it takes a real strong mind and a real strong willpower to take those pictures in the first place, and then not feel defeated until you've made some significant progress and then can compare back and look at them. So you're down 33.2 pounds. That's amazing work. You don't do that on accident. You've clearly, your why is strong. You have felt it. That feeling for you is carrying you forward. This will be your last time doing this. I believe it as well. Every single time that we say that we start and continue and stop and quit, it just resets all that. You're now on your last time. What I've done is, to make this my last time, is I've taken notes along the way. I've continued to figure out things that I didn't know, and every time that I quit previously, I would look back at those times and say, why did I quit? How did I fail? What was I doing wrong? And that one thing that I noticed more than anything is that as long as I don't quit, I can continue to make progress. I'm not worried about a perfect day. I'm not worried about a perfect week. I'm worried about just simply staying mindful to the process, doing the best that I can every single day, and moving forward. Clearly, that's what you're doing to get your 33.2, so keep up the great work. Mary writes in and says, hello, Mike. I found your podcast last week, and it's been pure delightful listening. I am a sponge. Your words, your ideas, and your mantras are truly becoming a part of me. I've giggled this week while listening as you read the letters. I can hear the topic that you're going to address in your reply. I started Weight Watchers in May, but I didn't really invest into the program because of end-of-year crazy. I did have a great first week, but then, as always I've done in the past, rewarded myself. Back up the hill. I'm now in the groove, 100% tracking, water, enjoying clean food. And I've signed my family up for the community center too. My non-scale victory number 1 is Starbucks. It's a Frappuccino. They are my crack. They have been for way too many years, but now as I drive past a drive-through Starbucks with long lines on the way to the community center to swim, I don't crave it. Ha! And I just saved $5. My non-scale victory number 2. I've been divorced for 5 years now. As I was driving my daughter to her dad's home, I started thinking about a blended coffee from the shack down the street. Really salivating for it. For many blocks. It was so weird because I haven't been craving the sugars lately, and that's huge for me. But it occurred to me that it was just out of habit. It was my emotional replacement for not having my babies, they're teens now, with me. Brewed awakenings, desired equals conquered. Boom. Okay, so here's the thing. During the school year, I have my 2 daughters most of the time. Dad has them 1 day a week and then 3 days the next. But during the summer, he has them every Friday morning till Monday afternoon, but I still lose it. 5 years later, I eat too much. I sleep too much. It's so sad. One night, while reading through Connect, I'm still a lurker and I haven't posted yet. I tried to think of what someone would write to me in response to this issue. And that night, I decided that I would make it the summer of Mary. I am moving. I'm doing water aerobics, lifting weights, the little ones, walking the treadmill, walking the golf course, and I finally worked up the nerve to swim some laps. I swam 10 the first day, very slowly, and not very pretty, but 10. Then 20 the next time, and I felt much better. It was less hard than the first time. I've signed up for some sessions to help improve my stroke, and it feels really good. I got 200 fit points in 522 minutes last week. I am focused. Here's my teacher's summer vacation question. You say, don't do anything you can't sustain forever. Is it okay to exercise much more intensely over the summer, knowing that it will get scaled back when real life happens? I mean, is it okay to jumpstart the weight loss like that? Great at tracking this week, or will it somehow affect my metabolism too much when I have to pare it down back in the fall? Attendance versus performance, I get it. I stopped swimming my lap today because it wasn't feeling good on my neck, and I wanted to be sure that I would be able to come back tomorrow. I want this. I'm at 298 pounds now, so lots to do. Well, I've rambled. I hope I made some sense. Please advise. Keep doing what you're doing. You are awesome. You are making a difference. Thank you, Mary. Mary, you are absolutely paying attention. As you're listening to the show and you can come up with the answers, I tell folks that, this journey, there's not a lot to it. It takes focus. It takes discipline. Most everything I'm going to answer is going to kind of revolve around those two things. Know why you're doing it. Stay focused. Stay disciplined and get it done. So the fact that you're able to answer the questions as well just lets me know that your head is in the game. You are clearly focused. You're getting it done and you're paying attention. Your non-scale victories that stopping at the Starbucks and not stopping there now and then craving the sugar, that highlights something that we have to truly be understanding of as we work this journey. In both instances, it's a habit that you're craving. So you can be miles away and something triggers that emotional habit and you instantly flash back to something you used to do significantly all the time. And so when we try and change a habit, we have to understand what goes into building the habit, and sometimes just driving by the place is enough to make you kind of crave it again. So it takes, a lot of focus, a lot of discipline to continue driving past it, and eventually it blends into the atmosphere. It blends into the scene. You don't even see it anymore, and that certainly happened along my journey. There's places I used to stop every day for breakfast that now I don't even see them as I drive by, but it took a lot of willpower to continue going by. So you've done that very well. Now, when it comes to Connect, I would highly encourage you to take that first step. The Connect community is so supportive. It doesn't take long for folks to understand what's going on when you post something. They can provide some amazing insight, but more importantly, they show you that you're just not alone in the journey. And so I would encourage you to take that first step. Put something out there, something so simple. Find some hashtags that relate to your journey. Use them so that other people can find your post. And you'll start building a support network that anytime you log in, you have folks who are on the similar journey as you getting it done. A great one would probably be the 5 a.m. Club hashtag because you're getting it done daily. Swimming 10 laps is not easy. Swimming 20 is certainly not any easier. I'm extremely proud of you when you said that you stopped swimming because you wanted to make sure you could come back the next day. That is the true definition of what I'm talking about when I say set an attendance goal. The fact that you recognize that and you are able to come back the next day is the way you're going to build that healthy habit where you go every single day. Now imagine for a second you continued, you kept swimming and your neck was sore, and all of a sudden now you need 2 or 3 days off. You've never built that habit. So keep up with your attendance goals. You might find, as you talk about, can you work out more intently over the summer? Well, sure, and staying with the attendance goal model, if you stay there in your summer, because you have a little more free time as a teacher than you do during the school year, you keep up with your attendance, you increase it enough so you can continue in that zone, and you may find that once the school year starts, all those habits that you built, you're going to start craving a workout. And then at that point, your workout becomes a priority for you, and you will find a way to fit it into your lifestyle. And it may take, a difficult or a hard work for the summer to build that habit in the consistency. Keep up the amazing work, and let's get it done. Teresa writes in, says, good morning, no longer FatDag. Hello from another airman, formerly an Air Force JAG, and I have a question. I would love to hear your on-air thoughts on eating out. I'm a lifetime member, and I attend meetings weekly, and I weigh in weekly. My highest weight at 5'6" was 207 pounds, and I have maintained between 125 and 130 for a year and a half. My prior personal goal was 145 to 155, which I maintained as a lifetime member for 10 years. I have tried to be very diligent about the program, and while I still enjoy eating out and having an occasional treat, I find it way easier to stay on plan versus having to get back on plan while I'm traveling or enjoying a special holiday. Here's the heart of my reason for emailing you. We recently went out to eat at the Yard House, which is a chained restaurant. I researched food options using Connect and the Weight Watchers app and the menu before going, and I was shocked at the high SmartPoint values. When my altered, somewhat SmartPoint friendly dish arrived, it was so tiny as to really just be a snack. I was so depressed. Nothing is worse than going into a restaurant hungry and leaving totally unsatisfied. Yes, I stayed on plan. Going off of plan would have cost me dearly, but it was a very disappointing meal. That restaurant the visit also spooked me from eating out at all. Do I go out and waste the money on SmartPoints to feel empty, or do I fix a meal at home that I know the SmartPoint values on and that it will fill me up? I am preparing for a 3-week road trip visit to family in 4 states where eating out will be a requirement. I would love your thoughts on how to approach eating out. Thanks for all that you do. Your podcast is really excellent, Teresa. Well, Teresa, thank you for being an airman as well and a former JAG. What an amazing career that had to have been. I'm very proud of you. Thank you for stepping up to serve our nation. It's very, very cool that you've done that. Now, congratulations. A year and a half at Lifetime is absolutely phenomenal work. I'm super proud of you for doing that as well. The fact that you've maintained it for about 10 years, you're 145 to 155, and then you take the next step to say, I want to feel better, and you've gotten to 125 and 130 is an amazing accomplishment. So I'm very, very proud of you. Obviously, I completely agree. Staying on plan is way easier than getting back on plan. Getting back on plan takes a couple days for many of us, if not longer, to really get back in the groove. So I agree, staying on plan is easier. You've got to work it into the restaurant because the restaurants are going to always be around. No matter where we go, we have to figure that out. You've employed an amazing strategy. You absolutely researched the food options before. Connect is the best choice. Weight Watchers app, another one. Downloading the menu and doing the calculations ahead of time. And pre-planning is what sets you up for success. So you have attacked this absolutely perfectly. You have a great strategy. You have a great plan. You know everything that you're going to do. And when you get to the restaurant, I understand that when you get there, you make an order and it's not going to satisfy you, and you certainly leave there disappointed. So how do we handle that? Because we have to know that that's going to happen from time to time. A couple things I would throw out there is you have to understand that, again, the fact that you did fantastic is the goal. You celebrate that. You can make it through the rest of the night on that food that you had, because at that point your eyeballs are probably wanting it to be bigger than it was, and you feel a little bit dissatisfied mentally. The amount of food I can eat today is significantly less than the amount of food I used to eat in goal. So the quality and the quantity will probably suffice to get you through to the next meal. So celebrate the fact that you did fantastic, but some of the things that I would consider. Obviously the weeklies are there for that reason. So if you get there and that doesn't work, that's when you dip into your weeklies. That's where you actually do some even more pre-planning. If you know you're going to go out to eat on Friday and Saturday, that's where during the week you save all your weeklies and you don't eat them during the week, and you plan Maybe that morning you plan for a smaller breakfast. You plan for a smaller lunch. And that point when you get to a restaurant and these foods that are traditionally higher in points, you can clearly stay on plan by having a larger meal balance available and then also being able to dig into your weeklies at that point. The last thing I would offer is you want to have some kind of ace in the hole places. A lot of times when my family asks me what's for dinner and if we're going to go out to eat, depending on what I have for points, I know roughly in my area, if I have 8 points left, I know I can go here. If I have 12 points, I know I can go here. If I have 14, I know I can go here. And so I know because we eat out a lot. And so I know, when I have a certain amount of points left and the choice comes to me, I throw out quickly what it is I can get for 8, 10, 14 points, depending on where it is. And I try pretty firm to stick to my guns, but you have to understand that you have the ability to kind of throw out what your needs are. And so if you're sitting with a group and they say, I don't know what we want, that's the opportunity for you to pull out that ace. Hey guys, let's go here. And then you're in complete control. You know how many points you have. You know that meal will satisfy you because you've had it a couple times. Experimenting throughout this entire plan is the hardest part of the plan. When you experiment with food, that is the point where you just have to trust the process, the long-term process. You go there, you made the best decision you could, you track it, you own it, you move on, and you continue back on plan just like you stayed on plan, and everything will settle itself out. So keep up the great work there too as well. Last up, Megan writes in, and this is good, folks. And Megan says, hey, FatDag, I just want to say thank you so much for your podcast. I absolutely love listening to your show. It keeps me focused and gives me great insight into so many different aspects. I too understand the struggle as far as passing the height and weight in the PT test. I served in the Army Reserve for 8 years. I'm now done with my contract, but I remember the panic a month before my fitness test and also trying to procrastinate it up until the last minute and passing by the skin of my teeth. I always slept horrible the night before my PT test, worried about not passing. As soon as the test was over, I would go back to normal. Lazy Megan, who ate all of the things, it was an absolute horrible cycle. I was a huge yo-yo dieter. After I had my twin boys, December of 2015, I gained so much weight, I was at an all-time high. It turned out that I had some severe hypothyroid issues and went on to an endocrinologist to get my levels figured out. For months, I used this as an excuse and a crutch for my why, which was why I wasn't losing weight. Well, the reason I wasn't losing weight was cookie dough, treats, extremely high fast foods. It was totally my eating. I gave myself a year after the twins were born to justify and to survive. I joined Weight Watchers January 2017 on a total whim. It was one of those nights I was up thinking about how miserable I felt, and yet again, another binge. I remembered my mother-in-law and her success on the program, and my best friend in the world telling me how great Weight Watchers tracking app was. I just drove in and I joined. Little did I know that was the best thing that I'd ever done for myself. I've been extremely successful in the program. I've lost 39.4 pounds since January 3rd. I'm currently in the healthy BMI range. Mentally, I am at goal, which for me, I am wanting to lose about 10 more pounds. I want to be in the middle of my healthy BMI range for my height. I feel absolutely incredible, but I know that I'm not yet there yet when I step on the scale and I don't want to lose any weight. I'm getting close. I'm really excited for that day. My why is extremely close to my heart. Growing up, my dad was very unhealthy. He is my best friend, and watching him struggle with his weight and all of the health issues that came with it was so hard. He had type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, and many other struggles, and he was only in his 40s with all of these health issues. He was on so many medications, I just knew this was no way to live. He had gastric bypass about 6 years ago and found out his heart being an AFib at the time. He was 5'8", 365 pounds when he had his surgery. Over the course of a year, he lost somewhere around 150 pounds, and he looked amazing. We almost lost him to a heart surgery in 2012 to correct his AFib. This was one of the scariest times in my life. I was in training with the Army at the time, so I wasn't able to be with him. Weight-wise, he was really doing fantastic. But in the last couple of years, he has been putting his weight back on, and he is now around 300. It breaks my heart. He is starting to deal with more health issues as the weight comes back on. His heart goes in and out of AFib. I've tried to get him to do Weight Watchers with me and constantly ask him how he is doing. I know that I am probably annoying him, but I don't want to lose my sweet dad, my best friend, anytime soon. He's only 51 and he's such a fun guy. The situation is a reminder that surgery isn't the answer. You actually have to fix the way you live, the way you eat, your knowledge associated with whatever your body needs. I am trying to learn all these things and implement them in my life because I don't ever want my little twin boys to be so scared that they may lose me because of something I have complete control over. My why is so personal. I really feel losing my dad. I don't know how else I can help him. Any suggestions are appreciated. Thank you for helping me dig deep. Thank you for your service to our beautiful country and for our Weight Watcher community. You've inspired so many of us to push hard to reach our goals and stay focused. It is an honor to listen to you. I will email you again when I can truly say, I am at goal. I do not want to lose any more weight, and I am excited to do that. Thanks for all you do, Megan. Megan, absolutely amazing why. And the fact that when you said that you've all of a sudden you just drove in and you joined, that's the most powerful part of your email. And a lot of times when we join Weight Watchers or start a new diet or whatever we're doing, whatever that day is that we do it, that's where we have to really tap into that emotional state when we're at that moment, because that is the willpower, the motivation, the drive we're going to need to keep us going. The fact that that you tuned in daily, that's what keeps you going. Yeah, I believe it takes daily focus to get this done. The fact that you're staying in there, you're staying focused is a testament to why you're down 39.4 pounds. You've done amazing work. That PT test thing, man, let's talk about that for a second. Man, you really hit home with me. When I read that part of it, yeah, she absolutely gets it. We were in the same mindset in that. And so the stress, it's kind of a little bit of a dark secret in the military. There are many of us who are struggling PT-wise, and this crazy stuff we do the week or two or month before a PT test is truly unnecessary. And I say it's unnecessary, and I can only say that coming from a place now where I've solved the issue for me. But I would do some crazy stuff, and I would never eat about a day and a half before a test. Well, no wonder I couldn't run, not only because I was starving and overweight, but I just didn't have the right nutrition to even complete a 1.5 mile run. I would end up doing some sort of body wrap to try and take an inch off my waist and all kinds of crazy stuff just to kind of get there. So I absolutely understand, and all of that now is gone. So when you talk about gastric bypass surgery and you talk about what we have to do to change our lifestyle, there are many different medical options that are absolutely viable for so many people that really can give them a quality of life. But you hit the nail on the head. Is all those tools are very valuable in the journey, but if we don't completely change our lifestyle, then it doesn't matter. Just because you've made goal, just because you've had the surgery, just because you've figured something out, doesn't give you the license to continue eating the cookie dough, to continue eating the the extremely high fat foods as you called them. If we don't change our behavior, you can't sustain it long term. To change the behavior, you have to truly tap into the why that you talked about. So you've done an amazing work there. Now here's what I want you to say. You're very concerned about your dad. I understand that. And so that is got to be weighing heavy on your heart. The best thing you can do for your father right now is for you to take care of you and model the good behavior that you want him to live by. When you get to your goal, when you hop on the scale and you say, you know what, I don't want to lose any more weight. And then you go out for a jog or you go out for a run or you do something that you probably couldn't do a year ago or 2 years ago. And you come back and you tell him how wonderful of a time you had and how amazing it was. And the fact that there's things I couldn't do before. And you share all that with him, that slowly will help him come along. And you have to also frame it in such a way where you are inviting him to do it because it's fun. Now, we hear a lot of folks who continue to stay on this journey that, I'm struggling, I'm pushing forward, and I'm struggling and I'm pushing forward. And while that may be true, those of us who are watching us in this journey, the more they hear that, the more we don't invite them to join us on the journey. Who wants to join a journey that's miserable? I want you to show the highlights of what your journey is. And I want you to, when you come to the struggle piece, share those in Connect so that we can help you with that. But the outside world needs to see how wonderful the journey is so they can join you on it as well. Lastly, I'll offer up this is for your dad if you can get him to take a second to listen. Megan's dad, hey, this is a guy who was very headed down to the path you're at. And I don't know what my life would have done if I didn't finally take charge and get something done. But what I know is you have a beautiful girl there who loves you, who wants to spend her entire life with you, and she wants you to be healthy while you do it. You've done it before. You know what it's like to be down 150 pounds. You have to remember how great that felt and how healthy you were, and how empowering it was to have your whole family be proud of you. You can do it again, sir. You absolutely can do it again. And what I want you to do is I want you to take a second, and look at your daughter and be proud of the accomplishment that she's done. She's taken some amazing steps in this journey because she wants to make sure that her children can have a mother and a father in her life for her entire life, for as long as possible. And that what she says is she has complete control to change this. And so do you. It's that control that they get that just brings the family together. And what I want you all to do is I want you to sit down, focus on what's important, and I want you to write it down. I want you to write down every happy moment you've had as a family. I want you to write down everything that you can remember that was the most joyous occasion. I want you to know that those moments continue when you take control of your life. When you make the changes necessary to be there for your family, that's what it takes. I want you to get this done. I want you to join us at Lifetime. I want you to be healthy and happy. You can make the difference in the world. So thank you, Megan, for your email. Megan's father, let's celebrate together. Let's all get on board. Let's get on plan. Let's get this done. We've proven time and time again that this can be done. What we're trying to do is not impossible. It takes just a couple seconds to figure out that the journey we're on is absolutely doable. How bad do you want it? All those things that you just wrote down, if you want them, they're there. They're yours to be had. You have to go do it. And when you get there, let's celebrate. What is it that you're celebrating? Let's go ahead and share it on the air so that folks just like Megan and her dad can hear how easy this journey is, how rewarding the journey is, how the struggle doesn't have to be there, that we can share the amazing part of this journey. Go to FatDag.com, click on Listen Now, send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in your celebrations, not only because they help someone else on this journey. I want you to be proud of what you're doing. What you're doing is phenomenal work. It's important work. It impacts our families. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. Well, there we go. That was when Megan sent me that email. That was one of those ones that just kind of gets to you. That there's a couple. All the emails that come in are amazing. They really are. But a couple of them, that's the beautiful part of this journey is that we hear what we need to hear. We understand things differently. Everybody has a different way of understanding it, but for the most part, it boils down to health. It boils down to living healthy, and no one wants to leave any earlier than they have to. but we don't know how sometimes, right? We don't, and it's not about the how. We talk about that, but we don't know why. And besides the fact we just say we don't even know it's possible, and that email it really just kind of got to me. And I hope that she gets her dad to listen to it. And I don't know if Megan's still here or is here, but Megan pops in every once in a while, so she's in on the show. But so anyway, so that's episode 99. We're coming up on 100. Let's see. I'm going to stick around for a little bit with you guys. I saw a couple of you hanging out here, so let me know what you're thinking. Let's see. Susan says she missed the first 20 minutes. Guess we're going on a walk in the morning to hear what I missed. Yeah. So, yeah, Denise, that's the same thing. Your dad's not a healthy guy. There's a lot of dads out there that, they just wish, and so what? The piece of Megan's email that made me so happy was the fact that, I'm doing the best I can for my family. And so that's kind of, I didn't realize it until I started reading her email that it very well could have been me. So very cool. So let's see. Paulette, thank you. Linda says, got to go. Good night to you. Ellen, I wish your parents would listen. That's why I developed the website, is that, you're not going to get them to sign up if they're not ready to sign up, but you certainly could email a link and say, and do it in such a way where it's kind of like an ambush, right? Say something like, oh my God, check this out. If you don't say, hey, you should do this, that's not going to work. But if you said, oh my God, look at this guy's pictures. Can you imagine what that must be like? And you send it in a sharing mode. And the only reason I built the website is so that people can see the journey's possible, and then they sign up and they join or whatever they need to do to get it done. But you have to know what you're trying to do is possible. So share it. Go next time, Ellen, you're at the house, download the app on their phone, just put it on there. And then some days tell them to email it. So Buffy says, you agree that it's exactly what you were thinking, that your eating is killing me. And I didn't realize it until recently, but that's exactly it. We're either eating to fuel our goals or to sabotage our goals. There's really no in between. So, so I mean, you can, no food is off limits. We talked about that, but it's quantity, and you can make some better decisions, and it's fun stuff. Barbara, that's a great strategy tactic. She says, I am visualizing myself at goal. I can see my body change. I can feel my clothes getting loose. I know that I can do it. Yeah. And if you, know it's possible, and you can do it, and if you've hit your 5% or your 10%, then you have that last bit of proof to know that you can actually do it. So, yeah, very cool. Steven says 99% of most of the points you can just track them quickly. They can just quickly track in. So, and so there's a whole show on that as well. So encouragement can seem like a little pressure sometimes, and that's the hardest thing we do on this journey is look at someone else and say, hey, I lost a ton of weight. Maybe you should consider it. How do you say that politely? You don't. So that's what I was saying in the email is that you don't tell someone they need to lose weight. You tell them how wonderful your weight loss journey is. You tell them all the amazing things that you can do now, and it's probably things that they can't do, but you probably couldn't either. And I really want to get away from this, I'm struggling so much. And I'm not saying we can't struggle, but if we share that with folks who aren't starting and walking the journey with us, there's not an invitation for them to join us. So share the struggle and connect. That's what that's there for. Share that struggle in there, and then find the support in that community of people who are working together, and share the joy with folks that you want to bring into it. So that's kind of the way I think I'm going to work it from this point on, is that, I tell everybody how wonderful it is, and I tell everybody how happy I am, and the days that that's not true, I come in to connect and tell you guys. So that way, on the outside, people want to join us, kind of like a trick to get them to join, I guess, but they have to see all the amazing things that we can do now. So John's got a red dot. So John's tracking red dots, which is he tracks episodes played. So he's 100% of listening to all the episodes. So very cool. Barbara, thank you. Barbara missed that. So tomorrow you'll be able to listen to the rest of it. Yep, you'll find this episode will be on YouTube as well. It'll stay on Facebook, and the actual show will go to the app. So let's see. Let's see what else here. Yeah, Jeff, that's a powerful statement there, Jeff. Jeff says, having the willingness to change your mindset was so important for me on this journey. Yeah, that's, and that's funny. I had a conversation shortly after I hit goal. I was talking with somebody, and I said something along the lines of, I don't do potato chips anymore. Or extremely rare that I do. I still had a couple on occasion, but they're not in my house. I used to have 3 or 4 bags. You could come over to my house and I could offer you about 7 different potato chips on any given night. Now there's just none here. And so I was talking to someone about that, and they said, "Oh, I could never give up potato chips." And so what Jeff just said is, you have to be willing to entertain the idea that at some point they may go away. At some point, you're going to make a decision that you don't want that anymore. And so that is where you don't have to necessarily change your mind initially. You have to be willing to accept that I'm going to work this plan and accept where the plan takes me. And if that changes my mind and changes my habits, then that's perfect. So cool. Jeannie, what are the plans for the 100th episode? At this point, I don't know. Here we are the night before. I don't know. It'll probably be just a normal show, to be really honest. I have no, I have a couple emails to folks who've lost 100 pounds. I may share a couple of them. But other than that, it'll just be just what we're doing here, nothing over the top that I know of. So Jill's saying, exactly, when people see how good you're doing, it makes them curious enough to check it out. That is the absolute truth. And it's not misleading. I really do. Everything for me is, the amazing things I can do now that I couldn't do. I'm the oldest I've ever been. It happens every second. I'm the oldest I've ever been. I had the absolute best score I had on my PT test. No stress at all. I'm sure there were other people watching me in that office that went, "Oh my God, he didn't stress at all." And so they're going to want to continue to walk their journey as well. Eastern time here. Susan, you're not in Eastern time. So that's, Buffy said, made the decision not to go to the fair, right? Don't tempt yourself early on in the journey. You can make, there will be a fair for the rest of your life. There will be a fair. At some point you'll be at goal and you can go to the fair. And at that point you'll make the healthy decision, or you'll track what you had. So and save the money and buy new walking shoes, which is a great, great plan. Kathy says, such a head game. You can have anything, but you don't actually want to eat the bad stuff once you've changed your eating habits. Yeah. So Kathy, I can have anything I want, and more than anything, I want to be healthy and I want to be at goal. So I'll be honest with you, there's occasion where some of that stuff still slips in, but it doesn't control me, and I don't feel like it derails me at all. And so I enjoy it. And usually it's with company, or it's not mindless. It's not sitting there by myself eating it. It's usually as a social gathering, and I just enjoy the event. And I get up the next morning and just continue moving on. So, but more often than not, I'm going to choose to not have it. So, Sharon here. Well, welcome, Shannon. Got that. Andrea said you had someone from work join after she saw you lost 30 pounds and you're still working it. Yeah. So, Andrea, imagine that, right? So you lost 30 pounds. Someone at work saw it. If you said, "This is the hardest thing I've ever done. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm not going to, this is miserable. I hate every second of it." Do you think that person would join? I wouldn't sign up for that, right? So you're living the lifestyle properly so that they are intrigued to get it done. So cool. Yeah, Beth Ann, I've lost my craving for chicken nuggets and chicken tenders. I used to love fried chicken tenders, and I'm trying to think, to be honest, the last time I had chicken tenders at a restaurant. I'm truly thinking, I don't know the last time I had them 4 or 5 days a week. I'm positive, and I don't remember the last ones I've had. So I'm okay with that. Let's see. Ellen, that's a cool, right? So Ellen says she got her first "Have you lost weight today?" which is absolutely fun. And so Ellen, what do you downplay it, or do you say, "Heck yeah, I have"? And that's what I did. When someone said, "Yeah," I would proudly say, "Yeah, I did. Absolutely. I've worked hard for this." So, and that's it. I'm telling you, this is the funnest thing I've ever done, is being at goal. So join me. So Denise said, took your son to the fair today, 1 corn dog and some ice cream, meant vegetables for dinner. So that's a great strategy as well. So the fact that you stuck with it, I'm proud of you for that. At some point, be open, as Jeff said, be open to the fact that maybe we don't have the corn dog and the ice cream, but if you fit it into your day, that's where the celebration is today. The fact that you stayed on plan and had vegetables for dinner is a huge success. Great job, Denise. Proud of you for that. Yeah, Jeannie gave up Crown Royal. Yep, it's not that important in the grand scheme of things, right? When it really comes down to, would you rather have open heart surgery or Crown Royal? Obviously, that's not worded right. Would you rather have Crown Royal and open heart surgery or be healthy? So that's kind of the better way to answer that. Yeah, Marianne, I've heard that too. So here I'm now 2.5 years. I have not had a drop of soda in 2.5 years. And on occasion, it pops up on my radar as, ooh, I want to try that again. And I just go, no, come on, you're silly. It's been 2.5 years. Why would you do that? But yeah, former smokers say they have cravings less and less over time. So it does dissipate because it's mostly you're changing the habits. I'm sure if you take a smoker who quit 10 years ago and you put him in or her in the environment where everybody's there smoking, the cravings and the people, hey, try this, the cravings would come right back. I'm pretty sure of that. So Gloria from Idaho. Let's see. Colby asking, did I drink any alcohol when I was losing? I'm not a big alcohol drinker to begin with, so not really. But yeah, I have a glass of wine with dinner on occasion, and a couple times on the golf course, I have some, and I have just a Budweiser, a 7-point Budweiser can. So, but I track it in, or on that one particular trip, I did not track it, and so I just came back and said, okay, I'm going to reset. But as far as a daily thing, no, I don't drink on a daily occasion. It's very social and very rare for me, so I don't have a lot of ways to handle that. But we have to talk about it. Alicia's saying, yeah, Kathy, the Crown Royal I misworded it, but you figured it out. Alicia says, my goal is to not eat after 8 p.m. this month. Not as hard as I thought it would be. Think of putting a dead stop help my mindset. So, Alicia, if you can do that, then that's a great strategy as well. I know it works for a lot of people. I know there's some people that one of the leaders, Tony, right? He worked second shift, so he couldn't live by that kind of rule. So you have to find what works for you. But what happens is that's kind of one of those how mentalities. Is if we say we set a rule, if I can no longer do this, that's kind of a how. If we set a rule that says, no, I want to eat right and I want to be healthy, then you'll close the kitchen when you're done eating for the day, regardless of what time it is. So I would just say switch a little bit to why you're doing it, and then you can work on a different how. So Andrew says, I just have to discuss exercise with someone now. I'll try to find someone on an LFN to help you. Okay. Let's see. Scrolling through. Jane, 7th day of being soda-free, 10 years alcohol-free this October. So you know how to break habits. It took me 20 or 30 days of no soda before I started feeling a little better about it. And now it's been 2.5 years and it's good. So... Mary says, I have 3 blue dot days in a row, and you swear your clothes fit better than and so that plays into it too, Mary, right? So the blue dot days too, which is really just honest tracking and accurate tracking. You'll start reducing some bloat too. And the first week on plan, usually we have a great weight loss because we're flushing the body of some extra salt and some bloat. So your clothes probably are fitting better for 3 days in a row on plan. So I'm confident of it. It doesn't take much, right? Jessica saying, hello, joining in late, but do you think diet soda, or we'll call it pop here in Michigan, can stall your weight loss? I don't know. There's been a lot of studies on it, right? And so I purposely just switched to water and just made the cold turkey. I'm done with soda altogether. And that worked for me. I'm sure there's plenty of people who are, actually, Eric still drinks diet soda every once in a while. And so, but it goes back to, if you're having 15 diet sodas in a day, is that the best thing you can fuel your body with? It's 0 calories, right? But is it the best thing you can put in your body throughout the course of the day? 1 or 2 is not going to have any impact. 3 or 4, maybe, maybe not. But I was 12 a day, and I was doing regular stuff. Andrea says you're a walker now. Need to start when you do need to start weight training. I cannot recommend weight training enough. I love it. Let's see. And Beth said you'd like to be diet soda free. Then do it. So Beth, if you would like to stop drinking diet soda, let me tell you how to do it. Here's a trick. So the number one way to stop drinking diet soda, ready? Don't buy another one. You're done. Congratulations. As long as you don't buy another one, and you got it. A little easier said than done, but that's kind of it's that mentality. And so I'll share a little story about that. We had when we were younger, we went to the pediatrician and we were trying to we asked for some advice and said, hey, our daughter has a pacifier. We're noticing that we want her to stop taking the pacifier. Do you have any tricks for how to have her stop taking the pacifier? And so we tried everything, doc. We tried this, we tried that, and nothing works. How do we get her to stop? And the doc looks at us and he goes, do you really want me to have her stop? I'm like, yeah, we do. He goes, I got a foolproof method. He goes, but you got to stick with me. I go, okay, yeah, what anything you say, doc. So he reaches over and he grabs it and he plucks it out of her mouth. He throws it in the trash can. And he goes, don't buy another one. It took about a week, maybe even less, and she was done. Right? I mean, because at some point you just have to adapt. So it's all it takes. So that's how you have to stop drinking diet sodas, to not buy another one. Ellen, thank you for that. Blue dots ever since you started listening to me. That's amazing work. So Ellen, is the scale reflecting the good work? I believe it will. Yeah, so Steve drinks diet soda. So yes, I knew, again, nothing is off limits. We've talked about that. But I'm sure you still, Steve, I bet you would still do it in moderation. I don't know, but I can't imagine that it's every drink, every meal, right? Maybe it is. Let's see. Team Diet Pepsi. Kathy, well, I'm glad to see that. Kathy says she owed the Honest Blue Dot days to me. That's the plan we set up back in May. It's really, it's that whole, you have to stop eating points when you're out of points. That's all the blue dots mean to me, and so, I'm not overly concerned with, I'm okay with if you want to save all your weeklies for one meal. I'm okay with that. Well, that day you're not going to get a blue dot. Okay, but you're still eating on the plan. And that's all I really want you to do is instead of saying blue, I just don't want you to go negative. So that's when you're out of points, stop eating points is more important to me than the actual blue dot. So when you're out of points, stop eating points. If you go to, like we talked about in the show tonight, if you go to a restaurant, and the little tiny meal isn't going to fill you up, well, dig into all your weeklies that day if you need to, and so, but really when you're out of points, stop eating points, don't go negative. So Hope, the attendance goal really works for you. If you don't get your exercise in, you feel sluggish. So that's it. Exercise does keep you going for sure. Yes. So Gloria, exactly. Exercise every day for 6 days. It's the exact same thing. Set the attendance goal of just going daily. So Gloria, I would challenge you, if the day you think you need a day off, if it comes up soon, maybe on day 7 you say you want to take a break, and I don't know what you're doing for exercise, but if you're going to a gym, I would encourage you on your 7th day to drive to the gym, sit in the parking lot, and meditate for 5 seconds, 10 minutes in the parking lot and go, okay, this is day 7. I'm at the gym. I'm not going to go in today, but I'm here. And you build that habit of the fact that you go. Try that on the days that you just absolutely can't go. Mary, can you, I'm going to screenshot that one, Mary. Hang on, I have to screenshot Mary's comment. Let's see here. Hang on. Someone said I'm right. Let me have to small too. There we go. So that'll be on, I'll post that somewhere. So Mary says, thanks, Ellen. I'm finally accepting that FatDag is right about that. Funny. Water and cold brew coffee for sure. Julie asks, what do I drink first thing in the morning? Water. And I do mix in the Advocare Spark caffeine drink in the morning. So it gives me a little bit of caffeine. I don't do coffee. So I started the Advocare to get me my caffeine fix back when I stopped soda, and so I keep going through cycles where I think I want to kind of get rid of that, but I actually kind of like the taste, and we'll see. Jeannie says, I swear they put something in Diet Pepsi to make it addictive. Jeannie, read the book. Go to FatDag.com, click on book list. There's a book in there called The End of Overeating. Buy it or don't buy it. Go check it out at the library, whatever you want to do. That book says exactly what you just said. The food industry, their number one job is to sell food, right? Little Debbie is in business to sell Little Debbie cupcakes and Little Debbie, whatever those things are. They're in business to sell that. Well, if they made them taste terrible, they wouldn't sell any. So there are people right now in a room trying to figure out how to make these things taste so much better, not so that you can enjoy them, but so that you can buy more. That's the only reason. So in order for you to buy more, they have to make it addictive. They have to make it so sweet and so full of sugar that your body craves it, that you can't get off it. And so therefore you get stuck in that cycle of buying. You ever walk in a store and you just pick things off the shelf out of habit because you see it and you instantly, oh yeah. Their whole job is to make you do that more. And so when I kind of understood that, that's when I started making it a game. So the fact that I don't buy it, I laugh at the scientists in the room and say, ha, not today, scientist. Not today, mad scientist. I beat you in your Little Debbie cupcake. And because I just didn't buy it today. So that book is called The End of Overeating. Fascinating book. Let's see. So Andrea drinks 96 ounces of water all day. That's a great, and so 16 ounces of cold water before you eat. It's a great plan as well. Yeah, so Stephen, so you just confirmed what I said. So there's nothing wrong with soda, but I would say more water than soda is definitely a much healthier lifestyle than more soda than water. So, Angie, you can drink too much water. If you go into the app, go into the search feature in my app. You have to scroll down and the little search bar pops up. In the search bar, type water. And you'll find an episode that I talk about water. And in the show notes of that episode, I put a link to the guidelines for how much water you should drink. And you absolutely can drink too much. I don't think many of us are there or in any danger of it, but you absolutely can. Yep, The End of Overeating. Yeah, so Sandra, you've read it. It is a great book, isn't it? Denise, good night. Stay focused to you. Yep, so... yeah, it's I need to go reread it because I read it before and it was really fascinating, but it's been a couple years since I read it. But in essence, once I figured out that their job was to try and sell more food, it kind of really put it in perspective for me. It's like, I didn't make a change back when I read it, but the thought never left me. And so now I continue to go, yeah, that's right. This is a game, so they're plotting a way to sell more. I'm plotting a way to buy less. And so I'm winning. So, yeah, so very cool. Did that happen to you, Sandra, when you did the same thing? Did you have that kind of, do you kind of make it, once you understood that was their rationale for selling more food, did you kind of go, yeah, it's a game against you versus them? Just out of curious if that happened. Brian, been off of soda for about 5 years. Feels amazing, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm not there, but I'm somewhat curious to see what it would taste like. Because I would imagine for 2.5 years of not having a drop of soda, I imagine it tastes terrible. So we'll have to see. Cool, Jane. So we got it on the Kindle. The End of Overeating. So let's make a hashtag for that, and let's discuss that book on Connect. Someone want to throw out a hashtag? So just say, do the whole thing. Do a hashtag, The End of Overeating. So use that hashtag, put it on Connect. Let's talk about that book for a little bit, or even on Facebook or somewhere. But it's a fascinating book. I liked it a lot. So cool. Yeah, and Brian, congratulations, man. 5 years is amazing. So now I'm curious for you, Brian. Do you still, on occasion, get a craving a little bit for it, or maybe not a craving, but because I have 2.5 years, and every once in a while, I'm talking once every 3 or 4 months, I have a quick little thought of, ooh, I'd like a nice cold Coca-Cola. And then I quickly go, yeah, I'm good. Does that happen to you, Brian? And then Shannon saying, celebrating here, your son who was married Saturday, and you stayed on point. Awesome. and you earn blue dots even through rehearsal, dinner, reception, and morning after the family brunch. Yeah. So Shannon, wait, you can do this? Yeah, it's if you really want to do this, you can do it. I mean, if you can make it through your son's wedding and stay on plan, you can go just about anywhere. Very, very good job. Proud of you for that, for sure. Way to go. And then the rest of your comment cuts out. So Beth is using hashtag the end of overeating. Yep, very cool. Yeah. So Brian says very rarely does he crave soda, which means occasionally. So probably once every 8 to 10 months, I'm going to guess. Putting words in your mouth, Brian, but good job, man. Very, very cool. So Sandra's giving me all kinds of book ideas. You Are Not Your Brain is also a good book on how habits are formed. Hang on, I'm going to write that down. You are not. The problem I'm having with you guys is you guys are amazingly suggesting book after book after book. I think I've added like 7 books to my book list in the past month, 30 days. So I've added 7 books to my book list, and look, I mean, I got these I haven't even read yet. So, and that's just that stack. I have a whole nother stack, so I need to get caught up on my book reading. So You Are Not Your Brain, and then Salt, Fat, Sugar. All right, added them. Sandra, thank you. Willa says you pretty much don't drink pop anymore either, but when you do, you think you want something. Usually one drink will convince me that it doesn't taste good anymore. So I noticed, on previous attempts of losing weight, I would switch from regular to diet, and I would go many, many, many months on diet soda, and then when I'd have that regular soda again, the first one tasted terrible. But I knew that I liked it, so I pushed forward and kept drinking it, and then eventually got back to liking it again. So it's an acquired taste. So that's why I won't have one now, because I don't want to like it anymore. But I'm positive it would taste terrible. And Diane says she's been off diet soda since Easter, and you feel better. So good job there. Andrea says I drank a Dunkin' Donuts iced mocha latte every day forever. You quit them 4 months ago. Tried one a few weeks ago. One sip and threw it out. See. So again, a lot of the stuff we eat, we're just addicted to the thought of eating it. It's not actually tasting good, but where our taste buds are so distorted that we just continue to get it. So Jeff Schwartz wrote the Brain Book. Okay, I'm sure I can find them. Man, you guys are all Nitha's off of diet soda for about a month. This is cool how many people are off of soda. So very cool. Brian starts with his why. Very cool. So Diane, so that's a great point. So Diane says, I get cravings for it, but you choose something else. And so I'm sure just like Brian, just like me, if that craving pops in and I resist it, which I have, it's an incredibly cool feeling. It's so powerful when you say, yeah, I don't want it. And you just move on. It doesn't control me. So, Lisa, you listen to audiobooks while you walk and drive. Another way to get, I'm not, audiobooks and I don't get along. My brain wanders too much in an audiobook. And so even with music, I can be in the car and listen to the radio and get to work and not hear it, not even have it. Actually, you know what? There are times I will drive to work and the radio will be on mute because I get to, when I get to work, I have to stop at a gate and show my ID card. So I press mute and so that I can talk to the gate guard, and then I go park. And then I'll drive home from work the entire way with the radio on mute and not realize it. So audiobooks don't agree with me. My head has enough going on that I don't need any more entertainment. So Nitha grabs the LaCroix canned sparkling water, and it's fizzy and healthy. Yeah, and Ellen agrees. Let's see. So Donna's asking if you're wondering, is there anything addictive in Halo Top ice cream? Because sometimes my mouth salivates for more when I'm done. So again, I've never had it, so I honestly don't know. But if you read the book, The End of Overeating, which you talked about, I think they would probably agree that it probably does. They're probably, they're trying to make it taste good, but more importantly is you're building the habit of having it often. which also is the craving. And so it's not just a physical craving, it's a habitual craving as well. So, oh, Brian, I love Simon. Simon, he has I didn't know he had a book on that, but I've seen his YouTube presentation, Start with the Why. Yeah, and that was fascinating. So I'll have to pick up his book. Makes sense. That's 3 books tonight. But yeah, Simon's also, his video. So if you go to YouTube, type in Simon Sinek, and it's something to do with type in why, it'll find it. And he does about a 40-minute presentation of the power of why, which is kind of, I think, somewhere in the middle of my journey. I listened to him, and I think it may have put me on this path as well. I don't know for sure, but I bet you it did. Yeah, Andrea says Halo Top's not allowed in your house. Yeah, free. I have free. Let's see. Here. Thought I had some Halo Top coupons here. Nope. Anyway, they're gone. Let's see. So Steve has Halo Top, eats his portions, and moves on. That works. Yes. How great leaders. How. Okay, I can't get all these. But I like writing them down. Yeah, I'm going to leave here 1, 2, 3, 4 books. Okay, now here we go. Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Also has a podcast. Oh, cool. I'll have to check him out. So, awesome. Well, I think I better hang up because I don't have enough money to buy all these books you guys are telling me, and I certainly don't have enough time to read them all. But awesome for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. It's it's completely my honor to be able to do this because what I know more than anything is what we talked about during the show. I have never ever experienced the things that I'm experiencing now at Goal. Life is completely different. Life is so much more fun. Waking up and taking a PT test with absolutely no stress and just going and taking it and knowing that I'm going to get an excellent score on it. I've never had that in my entire life. Waking up and just putting on clothes and not having to worry about what fits and doesn't fit. You just throw on clothes and wear them. It's amazing. Getting in the car, something simple as getting in the car and not taking up the entire seat. It's just fascinating. Every moment I try and find things that I couldn't do before that I can do now that were all hindered on my weight loss or my weight, and then my weight loss solved them. So that's why I do this. I talked with some folks today about the show, and they're and the most common thing I get, when I say this is a lot of work, when I say it takes a lot of time, the number one response I get back is, well, why do you do it daily? Why don't you just do it once a week? Why do you do it on live? Why don't you just record it and move on? And I answer to that is that because I've walked this journey. I know that I could go to my meeting on Tuesday and leave there with an amazing amount of willpower. And on Wednesday, I wake up with an amazing amount of willpower. And then on Wednesday afternoon, I've lost it. So it's that quick. The meetings are an amazing tool, but I can lose my willpower in about 3 hours after a meeting. So the reason I do this daily is because when I walked this journey, I needed daily focus. I needed something to hold me, keep my mind on this journey every single day. And that's what I'm doing, or feel like I'm doing by providing this, is that it's a tool for at any moment when you need a little bit of inspiration, you can go to the app, pull up an episode, find something to kind of break your habit cycle, break your mindset, refocus your energy, refocus your why, and get you to goal. So I want you to get to goal. I want you to experience it like we have. There's a handful of us here tonight who have been at goal and lifetime for a long time. Every single one of them will tell you how amazing it is. And I don't struggle. I tell you that right now. I have good days and I have great days, but I don't struggle. I can't be down 91 pounds and have a good, and struggle. I'm doing very well. So I have great days and I have good days. And on the good days, I try real hard to make those days great days as well, but by not struggling. So join us at Lifetime. It takes focus. It takes discipline. You have the ability to get it done. Go to the Connect. Go to anywhere you can. Look at before and after photos. Every one of those before photos is someone who didn't think it was possible but did it anyways. That's where I want you to get. I wish you good focus. Have a great night. Thanks for being here.